Sri Lanka's steep, lush mountains are some of the most beautiful landscapes on Earth, but heavy rains can cause that solid ground to suddenly give way, burying homes and roads in seconds. When millions of tons of soil shear off a mountainside, entire communities are left standing at the edge of the destruction, looking for neighbors and trying to process the loss. The mud swallows everything. Where houses, shops, and farms stood hours earlier, there is nothing left but a vast, flat expanse of wet earth and debris. The physical environment carries a strict geographical risk. To live safely in these hills requires building a nationwide system that maps the danger, warns the public, and engineers safety into the ground itself before the next heavy rainfalls. Since 2007, a national research organization studied these landslides. But as climate patterns intensified and urban development pushed further into steep terrain, researchers found they lacked the legal authority to stop unsafe construction. In October 2025, the NPP, the National People's Power Political Alliance, introduced the National Building Research Institute Act, No. 20. This legislation elevates a scientific research lab into a corporate body. It gives geologists and engineers the direct legal power to enforce their findings. By backing field data with statutory law, the state created a system to enforce the structural safety of the exact places where citizens sleep, work, and go to school. The first major operation of this new institute is emergency prediction and protection. This map illustrates how the institute creates hazard zonation maps, dividing terrain into high, medium, and low susceptibility zones. They use these to pinpoint geotechnical instability, where subsoils expand, collapse, or settle under stress, causing structures to fail. Once these weak points are mapped out, the institute continuously monitors the terrain to issue specific, timely early warnings to the people living directly inside those hazard zones. If the data shows a collapse is imminent, the Act grants a strict emergency power. The institute can legally declare a site a landslide danger zone and mandate the immediate evacuation of everyone inside it. Instead of deploying rescue teams after a disaster, the state uses its legal authority to move residents out of the path of the mud before the slope even breaks. The second pillar of the Act focuses on safe construction, stopping dangerous projects before they begin. Anyone looking to build in a vulnerable area must secure a landslide risk assessment report, a mandatory document outlining the specific technical and mitigation measures required to build safely on a slope. If a project involves deep underground excavation, developers need a geotechnical stability assessment report. This report legally binds the developers to specific ground improvement and slope stabilization techniques. Only after the Institute's scientists verify that these strict engineering standards have been met can they issue a Certificate of Conformity, which is required for the development to proceed. To ensure builders follow the rules, Section 12 gives officers the right to physically enter private land, bring in equipment, and extract soil samples for testing. If an officer identifies an imminent risk of a landslide, they can enter the property alongside the police without the owner's prior consent. The scientific safety standards carry the full weight of the law to protect human life. The 2025 National Building Research Institute Act moves Sri Lanka's disaster management strategy from observation to enforcement. Communities that once had to rebuild entirely after every monsoon are now supported by engineering mandates that ensure homes hold firm through the heaviest rains. New commercial developments, hotels, and infrastructure projects must adapt to the geological realities of the land, preventing rapid urbanization from compromising soil stability. For the average citizen, this translates into a highly regulated, thoroughly inspected built environment. When they drop their kids off at school or go to sleep during a storm, they know the structure was approved by experts. By tying rigorous geological science to strict legal authority, the government has ensured that the ground beneath Sri Lanka's feet will remain secure.